Hunter Biden's lawyers just found the special counsel making egregious false accusations against Hunter. It's unbelievable. And the special counsel claimed that Hunter was sending photographs to his doctor of lines of cocaine when in fact it was a photo sent from Hunter Biden's doctor to Hunter involving sawdust from another client who was a construction worker struggling with substance abuse, who chose his work as a construction worker over being a drug addict. So Hunter Biden's doctor sent this to Hunter to try to encourage him. And the special counsel, the prosecutors going after Hunter, made the representation that this was Hunter sending photographs to his doctor of cocaine. And if you go, well, why is this relevant in general? What does this have to do with anything? This case that was filed against Hunter, the indictment that was unsealed in September of 2023, alleges that Hunter Biden purchased a gun, and on the form that Hunter Biden used to purchase the gun, he misrepresented that he was not addicted to drugs at the time when the prosecution alleges that he was. And they utilized that photograph as one of the examples of photographs Hunter Biden was sending showing his drug use. I mean, when you talk about egregious prosecutorial misconduct, like, could you imagine a moment if special counsel Jack Smith said, look, this is a classified document, this is a classified piece of information, but it turned out that it actually wasn't a piece of classified information. It was a magazine, it was Los Angeles Magazine and not a classified document, and you brought charges on that basis? Like, let's dig into Hunter Biden's filing. Hunter Biden filed this motion to compel, this information showing these egregious errors, this egregious farce by the prosecutors is contained in this motion to compel. Let's take a look right here. It says the prosecution's, this is from Hunter Biden's lawyer, the prosecution's latest filing amplifies why Mr. Biden and the court cannot take the prosecution's assertions concerning its discovery production of what the discovery reveals at face value. Exhibit 1 to the prosecution's opposition states, this is what the prosecutors are arguing, why they don't want to turn over more documents to Hunter Biden that Hunter Biden says they need to turn over. The prosecutor, so David Weiss, remember, who initially was going to enter into a plea agreement, then the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives threatened the judge and threatened David Weiss and said David Weiss was a Democratic plant even though he was appointed by Donald Trump. Well, this is what David Weiss and his team states right here. During November and December 2018, the defendant took multiple photographs of videos, apparent cocaine, crack cocaine, and drug paraphernalia. And right below it, it includes a photo of 3 white powdery lines from iTunes backup iPhone Protection 1. Then Hunter Biden's lawyers say, the prosecution is flat out wrong, both that Mr. Biden took this photograph and in claiming that it depicts cocaine. Multiple sources have pointed out, and a review of discovery confirms, this is actually a photo of sawdust from an expert carpenter, and it was sent to Mr. Biden, not vice versa. More specifically, the discovery identifies this as a photo taken in the office of Mr. Biden's then psychiatrist, Dr. Keith Ablow, which Dr. Ablow initially received from a master carpenter and later texted to Mr. Biden stating, quote, this one in my office is of lines of sawdust sent to me by a master carpenter who was a coke addict. The message accompanying that photo was meant to convey that Mr. Biden, too, could overcome any addiction. The prosecution does not provide a date for the photo, but the message from Dr. Ablow is dated November 20th, 2018. There it is right there. And you see that these are lines of sawdust, and the carpenter sent it to the doctor who he shared with Hunter Biden. This carpenter doesn't even know who Hunter Biden is, to convey that the carpenter was going to do the carpenter's work and has overcome addiction and will not do lines of cocaine. And this is what the prosecution is using as part of their prosecution of Hunter Biden regarding Hunter Biden purchase of a gun in 2018. Like what? Hunter Biden's lawyer said the prosecution was reckless in making such a hyperbolic and sensational claim. By the way, I think that's an understatement there by Hunter Biden's lawyers. The prosecution was reckless in making such a hyperbolic and sensational claim in a public filing, which it surely realized would prejudice Mr. Biden in the public eye. Mistaking sawdust for cocaine sounds more like a storyline from one of the 1980s Police Academy comedies than what should be expected in a high-profile prosecution by the U.S. Department of Justice. Hunter Biden's lawyers aren't done. Another development just last week further informs Mr. Biden's request for, and now motion to compel discovery. On February 15, 2024, Special Counsel David Weiss unsealed the remarkable indictment of former FBI informant Alexander Smirnov. The special counsel's indictment notes that Mr. Smirnov expressed his bias against President Biden and was telling a farcical tale that Burisma, a Ukrainian company, enlisted Mr. Biden as an unregistered foreign agent and paid bribes to him and then Vice President Biden that proved to be so outlandish and unsubstantiated that the FBI field team recommended its investigation be closed, and then FBI Deputy Director and then Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General Richard Donahue agreed in August 2020. Nevertheless, with prodding from extremist Republican members of Congress who initiated an impeachment inquiry of President Biden based on the same baseless allegation, and the right-wing media, the prosecution team that was already pursuing Mr. Biden resuscitated the baseless investigation of Mr. Smirnov's ridiculous claims against Mr. Biden 34 months later. It now seems clear that the Smirnov allegations infected this case and why, on July 26, 2023, the special counsel answered as it did to the court's question about whether the diversion agreement's immunity provision would bar charges under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Lo and behold, some 7 months later, the special counsel finally figured out that Mr. Smirnov was lying, which would have been obvious to everyone, certainly by August 2020, when the Department of Justice closed the investigation. The special counsel charged Mr. Smirnov with lying and obstruction, but the more interesting part of this story is not that Mr. Smirnov lied. It is more remarkable that beginning July 2023, the special counsel's team would follow Mr. Smirnov down his rabbit hole of lies as long as it did. Disclosure about why the special counsel abandoned its June-July 2023 agreements with Hunter Biden and the role played by the Smirnov allegations may reveal flaws worse than mistaking sawdust for cocaine. Despite the prosecution's strong words in its opposition to this motion, the actions demonstrate that the prosecution has gotten much wrong and provides good cause for Mr. Biden to question whether it has gotten its discovery obligations right. One of the other points as well in this motion is the prosecution's heavy reliance on a brown leather pouch that it claims belongs to Mr. Biden and contain cocaine residue. Mr. Biden noted in his motion to compel that law enforcement obtained a pouch in October 2018 from a garbage scavenger who pulled it from a public trash can. The prosecution treats this evidence, and to be clear, the garbage scavenger picking up a pouch from a trash can as the prosecution's smoking gun. But if that were so, despite the pouch's questionable provenance, it is dumbfounding that the prosecution waited for 5 years before testing it for narcotics residue and never chose to retrieve fingerprints from it. The prosecution offers no explanation for that either. And what I always say, folks, here on the MeidasTouch Network is just show me the evidence. Show me the data. Ultimately, you know how I feel. If Hunter Biden committed crimes, he should be held accountable. Nobody is above the law. If a jury ultimately convicts Hunter Biden, that is our system of justice, period, full stop. I'm not going to be an apologist here for anybody at all. but I am going to follow the data. When you say that Sawdust is cocaine and that Hunter Biden is sending these photos to his psychiatrist, and it's actually a carpenter who sent it to the psychiatrist, who sent it to Hunter to encourage Hunter how you could get over drug addiction or how you can focus on other aspects of your life, you become a liar to me. When you start to rely on people like Alexander Smirnov, who is someone who is connected with Putin, who was intentionally lying on forms, and the DOJ knew this person was a liar back in 2020, which is why they rejected this crap when Giuliani was trying to filter this stuff to them. You lose credibility with me in the provenance of your case, of the legitimacy of your case and your claims. And one of the other things here that Hunter Biden points out as well is that back in July, on late July of 2023, when the prosecution was there and Hunter was there and the court said to the prosecution, the special counsel's office, have you provided all of the Brady material, all of the potential exculpatory information to Hunter Biden's legal team? And the prosecution responded, a lawyer for them, Mr. Wise is his name, said, yes, Your Honor. Okay, well, you make that representation. Well, then you bring the indictment in September of 2023 after the plea deal was scuttled by the judge and also by the prosecution's inconsistent representations at the hearing. But then, after making that July 2023 representation, the prosecution makes a production in October 2023, followed by subsequent productions in November 23 and January 2024 that includes Brady material, exculpatory information for Hunter Biden that was never turned over in July 2023 when special counsel David Weiss and his team told the federal judge in Delaware that it was turned over. So Hunter Biden saying, why would you lie to the judge? Why'd you lie to the judge? Why'd you lie to us? Just confirm right now that all of this Brady material is indeed turnover, and we have serious reason to doubt the propriety of what you are doing when you're calling Sawdust cocaine, when you're saying Hunter sent pictures and it was not pictures sent by Hunter, when you're relying on Alexander Smirnov, when you're relying on a garbage scavenger 5 years ago finding leather pouches in garbage cans. Like, what the heck is that about? By the way, this is why when we've seen MAGA Republican-initiated special counsels actually weaponize the Department of Justice like we did before in many other instances, you've seen not guilty verdicts. You've seen them fail. There's such a big difference between the quality of lawyering from special counsel Jack Smith and this mess by the special counsel David Weiss here, who was, you saw him urged by MAGA Republicans, to do this. So judge for yourself, but that's why we go through these filings together. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers together. Have an excellent day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.